Thank you, Stephanie. And hi, everyone. If you don't know me, my name is Kavish Sitahal, and I am from the Trinidad and Tobago Intellectual Property Office. I have the pleasure to introduce our first speaker. You just heard her speak. Her name is Tamara Nanayakkara. She is the counselor at the IP for Business Division of IP and Innovations Ecosystem Sector of the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO, in Geneva, Switzerland. She worked WIPO since January of 1994 in the Cooperation for Development Bureau for Asia and the Pacific Economic Analysis, Forecast and Research Division and the Least Developed Countries Division. Before joining WIPO, she worked as an attorney at law as an assistant lecturer at the Faculty of Law of the University of Colombo in Sri Lanka. She holds a bachelor's and a master's in law from the University of Colombo, Sri Lanka, and a master's degree in international management from the University of St. Thomas, St. Paul, Minnesota, USA. She is going to introduce us to the IP Diagnostic tool. And I believe this is her baby, this is her brainchild, and she has put blood, sweat, and tears into this. I would presume it is a fantastic tool, and we look forward to hearing her talk about it. The floor is yours, Tamara.
Thank you, Kavish. It certainly is my blood, sweat, and tears. Okay, so thank you very much, everybody, once again. And I'm very pleased to demonstrate very briefly this tool and also talk a little bit about how we plan to use it in WIPO. So you get this, it's a free tool available on the WIPO website. I have to tell you that this is, what shall I say, in a sort of a pilot stage, and we are jazzing up the look and feel and the design of it, which we will share with our colleagues in Trinidad and Tobago. But it's freely available for anyone to use on the website already. And so you have this website, wipo.int/IP Diagnostic, and you go and you click Start IP Diagnostic, and you get 10 questions. These are what we call preliminary questions that we have tried to isolate what are the main issues that intersect with IP in a business. So that if you can identify those 10 issues, then hopefully you capture all of the issues that would have a bearing on IP in your business. So first question is, have you developed a product, a process, a service, or any kind of technical modification that you consider to be new, innovative, or unique? I'm going to answer yes for demonstration purposes. Do you generate materials like manuals, pamphlets, labels, catalogs, videos, software, newsletters, etc. In your business? Yes. Do you use features like patterns, lines, colors, or shapes to make the external appearance or the packaging of your product attractive? Yes. Does your business rely on information that you consider commercially valuable, that you do not want your competitors to have access to? Yes. Do you use a logo or other sign to distinguish your products or services from those of others? Yes. Do you rely on external suppliers, independent contractors, consultants, etc.? Yes. Do you have or you intend to create a website? Yes. Do you manufacture or sell products outside the country where your business is based? Yes. Do you have employees? Yes. Do you have access to intellectual property service or expertise? Well, now you would probably have with the IP office putting up all these services. So you do these 10 questions and then you press next. And then you get a kind of a menu of sections that will take you deeper into the areas that you identified as relevant to you. Now, be minded that I checked all the questions as yes. So therefore, you had all of these things opening up. But if only some were relevant to you, you would only open those sections. So it doesn't mean that you would have to do all of them. But because I did it for demonstration purposes, they have all opened up, and I will just do trademarks. And then it asks you, do you have a trademark registered at a national or regional intellectual property office? And I'm going to answer no for this, because most likely people who are using this tool are not that well versed with the IP system to have actually registered something as yet. And then, if you recall, we asked earlier in the tool, do you have a sign that you use to distinguish your products and services? And we answered yes to that question. So now we are asking, what kind of sign is it? Is it an invented word? Is it an existing word with no relation to the product? Is it a word that hints at the product? Does it refer directly to the product, or are you not sure? So I'm going to go with something in the middle. It is an existing word or sign with no relation to the product. For example, Apple for computers. So Apple is an existing word, but it has no relation to the product. Is the sign you use to distinguish your products and services already registered by someone else as a trademark? Again, most people perhaps would not know about this. There's a little button here that explains to you. If you're not sure, you can start with search in the WIPO global database and it gives you the link. And I will say not sure. Are you interested in attracting investors to your company? Most people are. Have you considered obtaining the right to use someone else's trademark? Maybe not. Was your mark designed for you by an outside party? Let's say yes. And then, okay, I'm sorry, I'm going to say yes to this one. And then we say next. And then you see here, you get a little PDF icon that gives you a report on the basis of the questions that you have answered. So you click on that. It's a PDF document. And so the report gives you a general idea, depending on the answers you've given to the questions. It says you indicated that you do not yet have a registered trademark or are not sure about this. And then it explains what a trademark is. It's a sign that identifies and distinguishes your goods, etc., etc. And it says that if you do not have a trademark, it means that you have not protected the signs that you use to distinguish your products and those from those of your competitors. And then it explains that any sign capable of distinguishing your goods and services can be a trademark, and it goes on to explain the kinds of signs that you can that are involved. And this is basically any kind of sign. And then it explains to you why trademarks are beneficial for your business. It talks about that it makes it easy for consumers to find your products. It's an efficient marketing and communication tool. It's the basis of building a brand image. It establishes a loyal clientele. It prevents consumer confusion, etc. And then it goes on to talk about the distinctiveness of a mark. You remember the question asked you what kind of sign you have, and we said it is it's a word that is known but has no link to the product. So this says here, your answer to this question would suggest that if you would register your sign as a trademark, you would have an existing word or sign with no relation to the product and therefore a strong trademark. So it explains that your trademark could be a strong trademark. And then it explains what does that mean. And it says that there are different kinds, levels of trademark. You could have a coined or fanciful trademark, which is the strongest trademark, an arbitrary trademark, which is your trademark, which is also strong, but suggestive trademarks and descriptive trademarks are not very strong and are considered weak. And perhaps you should reconsider your trademark in that case because they may not get registration in that context. Then it asks you, the question was asked about whether anybody else had registered your trademark, and we answered we don't know about that. And it says your answer to this question suggests that you're not sure whether someone else has registered your sign as a trademark, and what does this mean? And it explains, if you're not sure whether someone has already registered a sign that is the same or confusingly similar to the sign that you wish to register, you should first undertake a trademark clearance search, ideally with the support of a trademark professional, so that you ensure that you're not infringing somebody else's trademark by trying to register that trademark. And then it goes on to explain the importance of that. It explains the importance of investors and the value of a trademark can have. And also, if a trademark was designed by a third party for you, then there could be issues about ownership and IP ownership of that design, and that you need to be aware of these things and take action. So as you can see, this is a 4-page document. It's not very long. It's very basic and first level information, but it is comprehensive. And so if you do all 10 sections, so if I will close this now, you will see that you will get something like 4 or 5 pages for each section, and roughly you will have something like 40-45 page report that gives you a comprehensive overview of all of the IP issues that pertain to your business. And you also see here that already in doing the pre-assessment, there are already 2 reports that are available for you. So with respect to suppliers and independent contractors, there's a little report of 2 pages, one page basically, that talks about if you're engaging with suppliers to develop software, to develop a website, to create some kind of technical solutions, etc. There are important issues about confidentiality and of ownership. And these are some things that you need to keep in mind. So this little report explains that issue to you and tells you that if you do have suppliers and dealing with them, then be aware of the IP issues that you could come into contact with. So this is basically what the diagnostic tool is. And like I said, I won't go through all of the different sections. I leave it to you to play with it and to try it and see what you think. And I'll be very grateful for your feedback. And I would just like to take a couple of minutes to talk about what we are thinking about doing in WIPO in terms of projects with the tool. So we would like embarking on projects with countries to create or strengthen an IP advisory service in an SME intermediary. An SME intermediary is an institution that supports SMEs, that has the confidence of SMEs. And we would like such institutions to have the capacity to provide support, and we would like them to integrate the diagnostic tool into their services. And how do we see doing that? We would like such an institution to create local material based on the WIPO IP for Business guides, that is, translate and adapt them to the local conditions and adapt the WIPO IP diagnostics also to the local laws and conditions like Trinidad and Tobago is doing now, so that you have a kind of a bank of local information that you can rely on, that you can use to advise your clients. And then we would provide training. There would be some kind of basic IP management training, plus, and what is at the core of this project is to train the intermediaries to provide advice to companies. And for that, we would like to collect something like 5 to 10 innovative companies in the country to do some kind of a pilot group and practice consultations. So they would help in the project by getting a free consultation with the SME intermediary as part of building the capacity of the SME intermediary by doing such a consultation using the IP diagnostic tool. And this project also is, section of the project is preceded by and enriched by doing a kind of an assessment of what are the needs, the awareness, use and needs of innovative SMEs in the country, to understand what it is exactly, their habits and practices in terms of the IP system. Are they using it? If not, why not? And what are their needs in terms of an IP advisory support service, so that we understand what are their main needs, and then also identifying other service providers, because no one institution can provide all of the IP services that are innovative SME needs. So if you create a network of service providers, then you are able to guide the SMEs to go here for this purpose or go there for some other purpose. And then at the end of the project, we want to be able to follow those the companies that were part of the consultations to see if there was any change in their use of the IP system as a result of the project, to understand what exactly ensued from that project. So that is all what I would like to leave with you today, and I'm available if you have any questions or anything you would like to ask me.